Welcome to the official Topic Talk. Please like, share and subscribe.
Audio Jungle.
I got a lot of comments in regards to you apparently hating Tommy Robinson, right? Fuck it, we'll just say his name, I don't care, right? But apparently you hated Tommy Robinson, right? Now, the thing about it is, you've lived in the area, you know the sort of people that sort of Tommy's talking about. I disagreed with you on the religion part because I said, look, if it's in the book that the people actually read by and live by, and it's actually sort of gives the go ahead in that book, then obviously there's a problem and it gives them the go ahead to do that. That's just logically speaking, right? Now, researching a little bit, it's looking like the majority of the Islamic community aren't like this at all. And a lot of the new ones, the younger generation, don't follow this, don't actually go by this. And just like the Bible, there's a lot of stuff that, I don't follow. I'm not particularly religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. So do you want to sort of clarify or speak and give us a little talk on to the people that are asking these questions?
I've never hated Tommy Robinson as an individual. How can anybody hate somebody who stood up to fight against these Muslim gangs, especially in Telford, and to make all the awareness that he has? He needs so much. He needs so many people to give him that credit for being the only man to stand up and to defend the victims of the grooming gangs in Telford. Now, I only disagree with the fact that he started introducing religion into this scenario.
But you just said Muslim gangs, so you yourself are bringing religion into it.
Muslim gangs, I mean, that's not religious. I mean, the way that he brings Islam into it. Muslim and Islam, I mean, is, if he was to take that 1% out and try to say that it's all because of the Quran Bible, where that guy married the girl at 6 and had sex with her at 9, that's bringing religion into it, which is absolutely nothing to do with religion. It's solely to do with these dirty old predators and the fact that they're preying on vulnerable young girls to make money from it. So I don't hate Tommy. I've got a lot of respect for Tommy. Because, like I said, he's the only man standing up to bring awareness and to help support the victims in the Telford grooming gang scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely nothing to do with the Islam at all. Nothing to do with their beliefs within the Quran. These guys that are part of these grooming gangs, I guarantee you, not one of them have read that Quran. Now the percentage of the people that have, I would agree with him on that point of view. But because these guys haven't picked up the Quran to read it and go by every single word in that Bible of theirs, he can't bring that reasoning into the reason why these guys are raping young girls.
I agree with you.
It's about greed and vulnerability.
I agree with you to a certain extent, because it's not everybody that's Christian is religious and they don't go by the Bible and live by the Bible. You only get really extreme people that do that. But I have to call it out here. By the way, by no stretch or imagination am I Islamophobic. I've got respect for my Muslim brothers and sisters. I respect it. I actually love the way that they live. They're a very close-knit family, and it's something I think that everybody should adopt in their life. But if you want to actually just debate it a little bit, I think that if you look at the extremism that's going on across the world in regards to religious wars, you have it in the Middle East, Afghanistan, and all the rest, and all over. That a lot of these people are taking literal quotes from certain books. I'm not going to just say the Quran, but from certain books and certain scriptures, and they're using that to sort of push ahead certain agendas. Now, it's true that a lot of these younger sort of kids aren't reading direct quotes, and they're not going, "Oh, we're going to do this." But if there is a generation of people in the past that sort of condoned that type of behavior, obviously it's going to take generations and generations and generations for that to filter out. So it's still there to a certain degree that it might be okay to do this. And
see what we got to also remember with this is that it's not just white girls, that they're raping. They're raping Muslim girls as well. Now, that's the side of this that not many people will hear about in the news. So a lot of people are going to be sat there watching now. Oh, no, he's lying, he's bullshitting. It's true. They rape Muslim girls also. To back me up on that point of view, over the coming weeks, I'm going to have somebody on who's been involved with Tommy Robinson. He's worked close with Tommy Robinson since the late 80s, when this gentleman, Mr. Singh, brought it to the attention of the Telford police back in the late 80s. So he's been involved in this throughout the whole of the 30 years. And I'm going to have him on so I can hear and let the people know to the opposite side, which is what is happening between these grooming gangs and the Muslim girls.
I get that. I sort of try to understand what you're saying too, because you're saying, look, it's not just these certain group of people picking on or trying to sort of groom white girls for their seedy, dirty behavior. It's actually there's a group of people that are targeting girls in general, regardless of their skin color, regardless of their religion, whether it be Islamic, Christian, it doesn't make a difference, for their own seedy behavior. And religion shouldn't be brought into this. It just should be the act that's brought into this.
If they're vulnerable and they can make money, that's what they're about, these grooming gangs. That's why they only prey on the vulnerable, because they know when they go to the police, this is talking before. Obviously, it's all come out now that there's a lot of police corruption that's hidden these hideous crimes for 20, 30 years. So, for the point of view, the Muslim girls are just as much vulnerable as white young girls are, and it's slightly different because they would rather prey, statistically wise, they would rather prey on the Muslim young girls than the white girls, because with the white girls they've got to work harder. Whereas with the Muslim girls and the way that they've been brought up, all the grooming gangs have got to say to that girl of a Muslim character is, "I love you and I want to marry you," and that's it. Now with the white girls, they'll play. It'd be a lot tougher for them to be able to bring the white girl round than what it would to bring a Muslim girl round. And
can I ask you a question, Steve? Is there still forced marriages going on in that culture in England?
I wouldn't touch on that. I mean, I haven't referenced that or researched that, but maybe this is another point that I should look into.
I could never understand, Steve. I could never understand one thing, right? Because I don't consider myself left wing or right wing. I'm bang smack in the middle, and I think there's good points on both sides and there's bad points on both sides, right? But I couldn't understand throughout of all of this the left wing politics, and I have to call it out here a little bit. More so the alt left said that it was you're Islamophobic, that you're homophobic, that you're transphobic, intersex-phobic, all different types of phobics, right? And to clarify this, I'm not a phobia is you're afraid of something. I'm afraid of nothing. So I'm not I don't have a phobia of anything. So I'm not phobic of anything. But they says that it was transphobic to eat, or not transphobic, sorry, it was Islamophobic to even talk about this. But at the same sentence, they were putting down people in maybe Western culture that possibly could be Christian, that had certain views on abortion, on women, on certain things like that. But at the same time, the alt left supported certain things that were going on in Islam, like forced marriages, the burqa, the covering of women, children, and things like that. So there's hypocrisies everywhere in this here, and I just find that I agree with Tommy in one thing, that this is being politicized. And actually, if you look deep down in, and this sort of backs you up, if you look deep down into this situation, that not all these, a vast majority of these people aren't like this at all. And actually, could it be quite possible that Tommy was used in a pawn, as he put it himself, on the famous Central Club podcast? Go check it out, guys. In the Central Club, Tommy Robinson, check it out. Fascinating podcast, completely different light that you've seen Tommy in. He himself says, look, I think I was a pawn in this, and with the elites creating a divide. And if that came from his own mouth, then he's sort of acknowledging there that, yeah, these people aren't like this at all. And he even says, I could even use the backing of these people to help me in this sort of, this, as he puts it, this conspiracy that's going on in the world today. So if he's acknowledged that himself, it sort of backs up your point. But why is the alt left? Why is there people calling, like, a white man like me, oh, you shouldn't have an opinion on this? But at the same time, they'll not sort of call out the persecution of women in another religion.
See, something else that I've looked into, and I know now. I know Tommy's worked close with this Sikh gentleman that I've been liaising with behind the scenes now for a month or so. And I know Tommy's been working close with the Sikh community. That's a good point. I mean, because this is going back as far as the late 80s. Tommy was first involved with this Sikh gentleman, who was also one of the first people, I believe, to have gone to the police, with numerous cases, and that's when he got brushed under. So it weren't only the parents and the young girls going to the police to let them know what's going on and to beg the police for help. This Sikh gentleman also, was taking evidence to the police, and both of their cases got brushed underneath the carpet.
The Sikhs are very, I don't know too much about the actual religion to speak on it too much, but I know it's a very peaceful religion, isn't it? It's very peaceful.
Yeah.
So and it's fascinating, and I will look forward to. I think that you've asked me to co-host on that. It'll be a pleasure to co-host on that. I would love to co-host on that, and learn from what that man has to say, and I'll look forward to that. So that's probably.
It's going to be a learning point for me, because I've only touched on it behind the scenes with him. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and this is the side that I wanted to learn from. I've seen it about the white girls and the extent of the victim evidence, but I haven't witnessed or been able to have researched about the Muslim girl side of it.
So essentially, what you're trying to say here is, Steve, is that we've acknowledged that these disgusting things have happened to these white girls, but we haven't acknowledged the things that have actually happened to the Muslim girls, and we've ignored that because they're Muslim.
I mean, and with the media blackouts as well surrounding it all, that's probably why we haven't heard it much on the news, and also because the Muslim young girls, to speak up about something like this is kind of like bringing dirt upon their families. That's why a lot of them haven't spoken out as much as what these white young girls have, for fear of how their family's going to react once they come out and tell them exactly what's happened. I mean, but this is the side that I want to learn from Mr. Singh. He's the best man because he's not only done his own investigating in all of this, he's also worked alongside Tommy.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, mate. Very, very, very interesting stuff, and I look forward to actually doing that with you and learning that with you. And as I say, look, this is what it is, guys. Right? If people have an opinion on something, and maybe you disagree with something, don't think that you're always right about it. Do you know what I mean? I might disagree with Steve on a few things. Steve might disagree with me, but essentially there's the right answer in all of this. And what you can do is you can go on a journey. You can don't be sticking with people that you agree with all the time. That's a pussy move. Go with people that you disagree with. Learn from people that you disagree with, because you'll learn something new, or you might educate somebody on something new, and that's essentially what this is about. And I'm just happy that I can learn about this, because it really, really interests me that what is the truth in this whole scenario. Look, mate, we're going to wrap this up for tonight, and it was a pleasure getting you on. We've done a lot tonight. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we've covered everything, I think, tonight. Thanks for having me on, Ronan.
No, mate, it's my pleasure. It's always good to get you on, Steve, and talk about stuff. You always give a good back and forth, and I enjoy these here. Right, guys, remember, subscribe to Steve's channel, Official Topic Talk. Subscribe to this channel. Go and smash the like button on all our videos, guys. We appreciate it a lot for all the viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace.